Hello everyone, welcome to Jumbo IS. So today we'll cover the day 5 of geography MCQs and the topic of today is climatology. The part 1 basically in which we'll cover temperature, the pressure, the composition of the atmosphere like all the layers of atmosphere. We have tropo, strato, meso and etc. So all these topics will be covered under the day 5 and we have already shared the notes with you and I hope you already have read those notes. So let's start with the first MCQ. First MCQ says what? First of all, consider the following statements regarding the composition of the atmosphere. Atmosphere has three things. One is dust particle, second is water vapor, and the most important third one is the gases. Okay, so first of all, nitrogen and oxygen together make up approximately 99% of the total volume of atmosphere. Then answer is right. We have nitrogen as 78 percentage, oxygen is with 21 percentage. So almost 99 percentage of the atmosphere is made up by these two gases. The third most abundant gas we have is argon and not CO2. Okay, and the fourth one is we have CO2. So these four gases are very important, so you should remember that. Okay, so second is the proportion of CO2 and water vapor remains constant up to a height of 120 kilometer. You will not find any CO2 or water vapor beyond 90 kilometer. Okay, so this 120 kilometer given height is wrongly given. Okay, so statement number 2 is wrong. Oxygen becomes almost negligible at height of 120 kilometer. You should remember that CO2 is up to your 90 kilometer and oxygen is up to 120 kilometer. So it is almost negligible beyond 120 kilometer. So statement number 3 is also right. So 1 and 3 are correct statements. How many of the statements given above is correct? Then answer will be your B, only 2. Okay, so with that you also have that is also very important that what is homosphere and what is heterosphere. From the surface up to an 88 kilometer of height we have homosphere where the proportion or the percentage of the gases remains almost the same. Like if nitrogen is 78 percentage at 20 kilometer, then it is again 78 percentage at 50 kilometer as well, and same for 88 kilometer. So 88 kilometer is the homosphere. The proportion and the percentage of all the gases remains the same. Yes, their number it decreases in absolute number, but if we take the percentage or proportion, it will always remain the same. Okay, and other than that, above 88 kilometer, we have heterosphere that at some point of kilometer, oxygen is more in amount, its percentage is more. In some other altitude, oxygen is less and CO2 is more. So the percentage almost vary with every kilometer. But the 88 kilometer is the line of homosphere, and below that, every gas has the same percentage and proportion in the atmosphere. Okay, so yes, statement 1 and 3 was right. So option only 2 will be the answer. Next, we have with reference to CO2 in the atmosphere, consider the following statement. CO2 is greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gases are those gases which are transparent to incoming solar radiation, which is insolation, and that insolation is getting absorbed by the earth's surface. Our surface will absorb that, and after absorption it will again release back to the space. And when radiation is going back to the space, it is in the form of terrestrial radiations which are absorbed by the greenhouse gases. And that's why we say that greenhouse gases are those gases which are transparent to the incoming solar radiations but are opaque to the outgoing terrestrial radiations, that they absorb the outgoing one. Okay, so that's how, if more the number of greenhouse gases, more the number of CO2, more terrestrial radiations will be trapped by the atmosphere, and that's how the global warming will be there. So atmosphere warming will be there. Okay, so first of all, it is transparent to incoming solar radiations but opaque to outgoing TR. Yes, they can absorb that outgoing TR. Statement number 1 is correct. It is the only gas responsible for the greenhouse effect in the earth atmosphere. Yes, it is a greenhouse gas, but it is not the only greenhouse gas. Other than that, we have methane, we have N2O, we have hydrofluorocarbons, we have chlorofluorocarbons, we have ozone. So all these gases are also the greenhouse gases. They are opaque to outgoing TR but are transparent to insolation. So statement number 2 is wrong. It absorbs a part of TR and reflects some of it back to the Earth's surface. Yes, some of it is basically absorbed by those gases and some are reflected back to the Earth's surface. Okay, yes, how many of the above statements given above is correct? Then answer will be your B, only 2. Next is regarding dust particles in the atmosphere. Consider the following statement. That's one of the one component of the atmosphere, the dust particle. Number one, they act as hygroscopic nuclei around which water vapor condenses. Hygroscopic nuclei are those nuclei which attract the water vapor, and if these are the dust particle around that, water vapor deposits and ultimately it converts into water liquid, and that is called condensation, the change of water vapor into water liquid. Okay, so yes, they act as hygroscopic nuclei, and more the number of dust particle in the atmosphere, more the water vapor if there is presence in the atmosphere, then there will be more condensation, more cloud formation, and there will be more amount of rainfall. Okay, so yes, hygroscopic nuclei are basically dust particles. They are primarily responsible for the scattering of light. Yes, whenever light is coming from the sun, these dust particles are responsible for its scattering. Scattering, like they can scatter into violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red in the form of Vibgyor. We say that blue color is the most scattered one. That is why we see sky as blue in the daytime, and we see it as red in the night time or the dusk or dawn time. Okay, so that's because of the scattering of light by the dust particles. As the red color is the least scattered by the dust particles, that red color will ultimately reach to our eyes, and that is why we can see that the sky is reddish or pinkish in color during the evening or during the morning time. Okay, so blue color is scattered more, so it will be scattered more in the atmosphere, so in the daytime we see sky as blue. So their concentration is higher in equatorial regions compared to the subtropical regions. Equatorial regions are those regions which have almost 12-hour day and 12-hour night every time of the year. And also these areas are basically known for the everyday rainfall, and whenever rainfall is more means the water vapor is more, and if water vapor is more, then there will be cloud formation, more condensation, and there will be more rainfall, and dust particles will be deposited at the surface. Okay, and that is why we say that dust particles are less in number in equatorial regions, but in the subtropical regions there is kind of less condensation, less cloud formation, less rainfall, and that is how dust particles are scattered around the atmosphere. So subtropical areas will have more dust particles than equatorial regions. Okay, so statement number third is wrong. So which of the statement above given is correct? So first and second are correct, then answer will be your option B. Next is consider the following statements regarding the troposphere. Troposphere is the first layer of the atmosphere. If this is your atmosphere, this will be troposphere. This is equator, this is poles. At equator, the height of troposphere is around 18 kilometer, and at the poles it is around 8 kilometer. And this difference in the height of troposphere is because of the presence of high or low temperature at equator region or poles region. If there is more temperature in the equatorial region, then the gases present above the surface will also have high temperature, and with high temperature the gases will become light and they will move upward, so they can move to a very higher amount of height. So up to 18 kilometer they can go. But if the surface temperature is too low, the gases present above the surface will also have less temperature, and with that less temperature they'll become dense, they'll contract, and all the things that contracted and become denser in nature, they'll go downward and not upward. And that is why only gases or only dust particles are present in the 8 kilometer of the height. So troposphere is the layer where maximum amount of dust particle, gases, and water vapors are present, and that is why the height of troposphere varies at equator and poles areas. Okay, so it is basically because of the temperature of equator surface or pole surface. So number one, its average height is 13 kilometer, but it is higher at the equator than at the poles. Yes, if we take about the average, 18 and 8, so that's around 13 kilometer height. So 45 degrees also there. So 13 kilometer height is the average height of troposphere. It contains almost all the water vapors and dust particles of the atmosphere. Yes, this tropo means the mixing of air. So all the layers, all the dust particles, water vapors will be present in this layer only. So third is the temperature in this layer increases at a rate of 1 degree Celsius for every 165 meter of height. You must have studied that this is 165 meter and 1 degree Celsius. This is called lapse rate. But don't get too excited by seeing all these two facts because it is written here increases. Temperature does not increase with the height, it decreases with the height. And with every 165 meter, there is the decrease of 1 degree Celsius of temperature. Okay, so that is why, as a conceptual clarity, this statement becomes wrong. This is called normal lapse rate with every 165 kilometer decrease in temperature by 1 degree Celsius. This is just the case of troposphere only and not all of the layers of the atmosphere. Okay, so which of the statement given above is correct? Then answer will be your A, 1 and 2 only. Next will be regarding the stratosphere. Consider the following statements. Stratosphere is the layer above the troposphere. If we talked about troposphere, 18 kilometer height at equator and 8 kilometer height is at 90 degree poles, then the height of troposphere will be 50 kilometer in case of equator and in case of poles both. Okay, so we can say that the thickness of troposphere is more at equator, but the thickness of stratosphere is more at near the poles. Okay, so that's called troposphere, and troposphere is very famous for the presence of ozone layer, which prevents the earth from harmful UV radiations which are coming from the sun. So number one statement says it is the layer where the normal lapse rate is most important. Normal lapse rate means there is decrease in the temperature with height in the stratosphere, but it is not the correct statement because of the presence of ozone layer here, which absorbs the energy, which absorbs the UV light. It increases the temperature there, and if we increase the temperature with height, it becomes the negative lapse rate and not the normal lapse rate. Because of the presence of ozone layer, this phenomena is occurring. And if ozone I'm so sorry. Okay, if ozone layer would not have been there, then there will be no negative lapse rate. But yes, ozone layer is present. It is absorbing the energy in terms of UV radiations, and that is how the increase in the temperature with the height. So statement number one is very wrong. It contains the ozone layer, yes, which filters out UV rays, yes. It is preferred by the jet pilots because it is nearly free from weather disturbances. Yes, troposphere is the area where all the air and wind is blowing, but stratosphere has no wind. So whenever we are flying all the planes and the jet aircraft, we prefer the stratosphere so that less fuel is consumed. Because if air is in this direction, wind is in this direction, and we are going toward this direction, so we have to burn more fuel. Our speed will be decreased. So yes, all jet pilots prefer this location because it is free from any weather disturbances. All the clouds are in the troposphere, all the rainfall is in the troposphere. So stratosphere is a very calm and composed area. Okay, so statement number 2 and 3 are right. How many of the above statements are correct? Then answer will be your B, only 2. Next is, which of the following is the characteristics of the mesosphere? Above tropo and strato, then we have mesosphere. If this is stratosphere, 50 kilometer is at the stratosphere, 80 kilometer is at the mesosphere. This is your mesosphere. Mesosphere is very famous for the burning of meteors. Okay, so statement number mesosphere says what? It extends up to a height of 80 kilometer. Yes, 50 to 80 kilometer. 30 kilometer is the thickness of mesosphere. Temperature increases with height in this layer. Normally, temperature decreases with height. Stratosphere was one of the exception because of the presence of ozone layer. But mesosphere has no this such of ozone layer or any other layer of the gas. So normally the temperature should decrease with the height in mesosphere. So statement number 2 is wrong because temperature decreases with height and not increases with height. Meteors burn up in this layer upon entering the atmosphere. Yes, the starting up of burning of meteorites is already occurred in thermosphere, but mesosphere is the main important layer where all the meteors will burn up, because there will be more presence of the air and the dust particles and your gases. Okay, so that's basically your meteor burning up layer. Statement number 3 is also right. So select the correct answer. We have 1 and 3 as our answer. Okay, so if we say that temperature decreases with the height, it is normal thing. But if temperature increases with the height, then that phenomena is called temperature inversion. Temperature inversion is the phenomena where with height temperature is increasing. Next is consider the following statements regarding the ionosphere. Ionosphere is basically the layer where the ions are in abundance, and those ions are responsible for the reflection of radio waves, and that is responsible for any wireless communication. Okay, so wireless communication, mobile communication, everything is possible on this earth because of the presence of ionosphere. So number one, it is located between 80 and 400 kilometer above the mesopause. Yes, above 80 to 400 kilometer we have ionosphere, which is again the part of thermosphere. This is your tropo, this is your strato, this is your meso, and this is your thermo. And iono is the part of thermosphere. So up to 400 kilometer we have our thermosphere. Okay. So next is it reflects radio waves back to the earth, enabling wireless communication. Yes, without the presence of ions, there will be no wireless communications. Okay, so the International Space Station's orbits in this region. Yes, it is at 400 kilometer. ISS, it is taking 90 minutes to revolve around the earth. So in every kind of 15 minutes or 1 hour and 30 minutes, it is basically completing one revolution around the earth. 1 hour 30 minutes, not 15 minutes. Okay, so again we should remember that all these things are correct with respect to ionosphere. So which of the statement given above is correct? Then answer will be your D, 1, 2 and 3.